Helpfulness is tricky. Sometimes helping looks like picking up a hammer. I'm good at that. I can fix things. But sometimes helpfulness looks like keeping my hands in my pockets, letting my kids struggle with a zipper, or a difficult social situation. My instinct is to swoop in and try and save the day. I want to be the hero. But real helpfulness is empowering the other person to be the hero of their own story. I'm Nick Walton. I'm a coffee roaster, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm a wee little farmer, and I can't stop thinking about the invisible scripts that run our lives. You're listening to The Values Sort. This is a field guide to the values that shape the patterns of thinking and behaviors that end up shaping our entire lives. This is Essay 33, Helpfulness. Let's get into it. When I was a youngster, there was this book that came out. It was called The 5 Love Languages. It was a decidedly Christian book, but the concept made its way into broader culture. You may have even heard of the book or the idea. It doesn't really matter. The 5 Love Languages concept was introduced to me early, and it stuck in my brains. The languages are physical touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, and quality time. Acts of service rates very high for me, and it's number 1 for my number 1. My wife's primary love language is me cleaning the kitchen. She also loves cleaning the kitchen herself. Tidying up is a thing for us. It's a kindness that I know that I can show her to get the place tidied up before bed. Nothing nicer than waking up to a clean kitchen, says she. That's not exactly helpfulness, though, is it? I have a pet peeve. It's when dads say that they're going to babysit their own kids. I want to smack them. I want to shake them by the shoulders and tell them to get a hold of themselves. Grow up. You don't babysit your own children. You're just with them. I don't even like babysitting my friends' kids. I like to just be with them. That is also not exactly helpfulness. I am a worker. I get things done in my life. I feed the chickens and I collect eggs. I figure out why my tractor won't start. I am slowly preparing a 1987 Cushman truckster for its next life. I use tools, and I usually don't cut my fingers off. These things also are not quite helpfulness. Helpfulness is one of my top 5 values. So why am I having such a hard time writing or speaking about it? Why can't I think of any examples of me being helpful in my life? Maybe I value it because I feel like I need it in my life. My wife is a great help to me. Too much, in truth, sometimes. She overextends herself in order to help me stay on top of life. I mentioned in a recent post that my brains are sometimes like a cat holding firecrackers. Just bedlam. And that woman, she holds me down. In truth, I think that's probably it, especially right now in this season, because there's a lot going on in my life right now. And I sort of feel like I'm drowning sometimes, if I'm honest. I need help. I need all the help I can get. I wish I could be a greater help to the people around me, but right now it feels like I need to take. I need to withdraw. I need to call in favors. And that's uncomfortable for me. I want to be the one doing favors. I want to change your oil for you. I want to fix your computer. I want to write these essays and feel like they're moving somebody's needle a little bit. Helping. I want to do the values exercise with everybody I meet, and I want that to be helpful. But really, writing these essays is primarily a help to me. A cry for help of sorts. I am familiar with helping. I think of small things I do or have done to benefit the people around me. I make jam every year. I wake up at 6 a.m. and I make Spritz cookies with someone I love. I run errands and I pick up supplies and I use AI to research how to fix my wife's turn signal switch. I have done this card sorting exercise with a lot of people now, and I think it's been genuinely helpful in some people's lives. It's precipitated new patterns of thoughts for them and a new conversational avenue for us together. Usually when I do the exercise with someone, I snap a photo of them with their selections and I text it to them. And then I stare at the beautiful photo of my beautiful friend and their beautiful choices, and I almost always am filled with love for them. I'm filled with kind words. I hope they're kind. They're meant to be kind. They're usually just observations. But sometimes I think that can be a kindness, to just sit with someone and report what you see. Repeat what you hear. Tell of what you observe. And right now, just now, in this time of my life, I'm feeling deeply unhelpful. I'm feeling slow and exhausted and a little bit empty. All my wells have run dry. I feel like I have no best, to bring to the table, and that makes me feel inadequate. There may be an unhealthy aspect of helpfulness for me also. If I'm not careful, I'm helping in order to secure the love and approval of my community. That has certainly been the case in the past. I know that. I have spent a lot of time feeling like I'm not a valued member of my community, and it's a feeling that rots in the pit of my stomach. It's awful, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. And I guess to me, maybe, that's what helpfulness is. It's about inclusion on some level. When we help one another along, we show one another that we're loved. Loved enough to sacrifice for. When I think of sacrificial help, I think of Budaburam Camp. Budaburam is a displaced people's camp about 25 miles outside of Accra, which is the capital city of Ghana, a country in West Africa. It was initially established in the early 1990s as a response to the influx of refugees fleeing Liberia's ghastly civil war. I was there once. I will not share all of the details of how I arrived there now, but I was there unexpectedly, and for a short time I felt very alone indeed. I was far from home, in an unfamiliar place, with unfamiliar people, and unfamiliar food, and a completely different system of accessing toilets than I'd ever experienced before. I met a man who made room on his bench for me. Look, it was a refugee camp. I could describe it in great detail here, but that risks making a show of someone else's circumstances, and that feels gross. But suffice it to say, for now it was unfamiliar, and it was hotter than the hinges of Hades. I asked how hot it was at one point, and all they could tell me is very. This man with room on his bench also had room at his table. He fed me and showed me the way around, but he had no room in his home. He lived in humble quarters with his family, and so the only place for me to sleep was nearby with an 18-year-old boy, his wife's brother, who I will never, ever forget. He had seen things with his own eyes I will not describe here. War is hell. War is hell. He slept in a weird little concrete shack, exactly the size of a twin mattress. His belongings fit neatly on a shelf hung alongside one wall, and mine fit neatly in a backpack hung on a hook. During the day, he walked alongside me, and at night we slept together on the twin mattress. Me gasping for oxygen in the humid atmosphere, him hugging me. Now listen, at first it was weird. It was annoying even. Give me some space, man. Give me some air. I came to realize after a while that he was comforting me. Far from taking, he was giving everything. He gave up half his small bed, and he hugged me because I was far from home and he knew I was afraid. He hugged me at night because at night I cried. I may never have encountered a heart of helpfulness like his before or maybe since. Who was I that he should comfort me? He had nothing. His parents were killed in front of him. His journey to safety was arduous and treacherous and long. His eventual safety was a refugee camp where there was no money or space or opportunity. In the long run, he was blinded by an accident, and later on he was killed because someone thought his life was cheap. This is the story of the boy who loved me without a good reason. I am wondering now if that experience has affected me more than I realized at the time, because when I strip away the tractors and the kitchen tidying and the competence, that is what remains. Working for the welfare of others, making room on the mattress, holding someone while they cry. That is helpfulness.